Bonsoir, Lausanne. Back in August, I had a call from a young lady working for TEDx, and she said to me, Fab, it's about time. Good pick. Well, I thought, okay, time is an important topic in religion, in philosophy. I studied it, and in science, but it's also true for business. So I thought I'd dig in a little bit, and I started to search on it, and I asked the usual suspects, Mr. Google and Miss Wikipedia. And I found an interesting definition that I'm about to share with you. Time is a component quantity of various measurements used to sequence events to compare the duration of events or the intervals between them. Okay, I'm losing you already. It's complex. It's complex and it's true. From the moment I started to work for a mid-sized or large organization, I have been confronted with the issue of time. I don't mean the usual choices that are only made to us women. When we have to decide whether we want to work full-time, part-time, if we want to build a family or make a career, or even if you want to try to do both. No, it's important, but not for today. I mean time in the managerial dimension, when change is a necessity and speed is the rule. If we, corporation, want to achieve greater success or simply survive. In the large corporations or even in the smaller one, the agenda is rather full of change. We change to optimize, we change to restructure, we change to be lean, we change to be more agile. These days we all try and change to digitalize, or we try and change to be Uberizing, or to not be actually Uberized. As you can see, there are dozens of reasons to change, and probably I'm forgetting some of them. Equally, we've got tons and tons, piles, I must say, of books talking about change management. 16,000 titles are for sale on Amazon, if you just Google with a small kind of denomination. That's rather a huge quantity of reasons and explanations of how we do and we conduct change management. So you're going to tell me, but what has this got to see with time? Well, actually, there is another interesting number. 60% of change management plans fail. Could be wrong, it could be true. In some kind of ways, it's not really important. Because let's face the reality. We know that change management plans that fail leave us with exhausted people, with demotivated people. We don't know what tomorrow is going to be. Burnouts. And in the worst cases, suicides. So yes, it is about time that we, employees, leaders, entrepreneurs, consultants working for this whole ecosystem, stop wasting that precious time that produces so little change. In other words, could we change and move from wasting time to making time? In my daily practice, I believe very strongly in three important virtues: slowness, truth, and emotion. Let's look at slowness. By slowness, I don't mean inertia. I don't mean lack of action. I mean active slowness. I mean the necessary time to step back. The time to think. It takes time to think. I mean the time to digest the change, the time to learn with the people we manage, the time to connect the organization to its most important mission when we're in business, satisfying our customers, making them as happy as possible. I know, I already see some of the eyes, kind of wondering, this is a little bit provoking. At a time where we are all asked to go fast, furious, and even fast and furious. Let me share with you an example. I was used to be working in the aluminum industry. And in this industry, we were making plates, big blocks of aluminum, to make the wings and the fuselage of most aircraft we fly with. We had a bit of a problem to meet the undefected quality that our customers were expecting. We had done a lot of things, implemented good processes. We had tried new sort of, key performance indicators, but we couldn't resolve it just by doing all of this, including executive decision. And engineers, were scratching their heads. At the time, I was in marketing, and I knew little on industrial processes. So I had only just one question in mind: why? Why and why it doesn't work anymore? So I asked the VIPs, the very intelligent people, customers and employees. Yes, indeed. Customers and employees, and I interviewed them. I asked them what was going on. I was actually shocked, very surprised to see that at the end of the day, those guys, those workers who were making those plates for these customers had no idea what these parts were all about and what they were for. Sometimes they didn't even know who was the customer. Their job became without any purpose. They became like robots. So how did we fix it? I don't want to say simply. I took the workers off the line and I made them meet with the customers. The sales force brought the customers in the facility, in the production facility. And they spent the time to explain the purpose of the work. They spent the time to explain those guys what was happening with those plates. Let me say that again. I took the workers off the line. So imagine, at the time in marketing, I was a woman, and I had to explain the plant managers that I had to take those guys off. That means time not spent producing, and explaining that that could improve quality and productivity. It sounded revolutionary. Truth. I noticed over time that I get the best of my team when I tell the things as they are. I know it can be scary, good or bad. And when I encourage transparency. Startups today, they fascinate everybody. They go faster. Why that? Well, because in startups, people speak more openly, more directly. They share the same value. They are aligned toward the same goal. Let me share another experience in healthcare. In healthcare, products must comply to public regulation, and public regulation very often change. They change to improve patient safety, they change to follow science. That means that companies have to assess, reassess their processes, their products, their packaging, pretty much everything. And that means a lot of work for the teams, that the managers have to make sure that it's done. It's done at a set deadline. And you know what, with deadlines, it's about time. It's always too close. So what happens? Well, sometimes teams, they just stay halfway there, right? They just do a little bit of it and they know that they're going to miss the deadline, but they don't say anything. And that's the problem. But the biggest problem is not so much that we don't meet the deadline, is that they don't dare saying what's happening. They don't dare saying the truth. And that can be a big problem. In these kind of industries, you could be caught and be getting into a crisis, a reputational image. It could be also a patient safety issue. So, of course, we had to fix the problem. And how did we do that? Well, the first thing was for the management to recognize there was a problem. Be conscious there is a problem, therefore you can move. The second thing we had to do was to encourage. But listen to this, we also rewarded transparency. We made people telling the truth. There is power in telling the truth. Truth creates trust and time. Emotion. Change means moving people. Emotionally, physically sometimes as well. Remember those workers who were in the plant? Well, some of them cried. They were so proud to discover they were making parts for the Airbus A380. Yes, they cried. Most change management plans today, the motto of them, what is it? Reducing cost, increasing revenue. Unfortunately, people don't get up in the morning to increase productivity by 5%. Exactly. They don't get up in the morning to increase market share by 10%. They don't get up in the morning to reduce the workforce, particularly when it's their colleagues. They get up in the morning to build the largest aircraft in the world. So, do we need to be Mandela or Michelle Obama to do that? I don't think so. What we need to do is to find that little thing that moves people. We need to take the time to understand that little thing or that big thing that is hidden behind piles sometimes of process flows that we forgot with time, like this situation in the plant. I call it meaning. So yes, it is about time when we embark in the corporate world for destination change that we make space for slowness, truth, and emotion. Thank you very much.